My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff, and today I've got a protection build for you and your teammates. We're going to be featuring the perk Slice to sever targets by 40% damage reduction, pairing it with a Void Overshield. This build is absolutely cracked if you want to keep your teammates alive. Some serious damage reduction, and the damage reduction is as much as Protective Light from a few seasons ago, so stay tuned, I'm going to break it all down. The first part of the build, I'm just going to concentrate on the exotic of choice, Aeon Safe, especially with the trait Sector Vigor. Gain class ability, energy, and take reduced damage from combatants for a short time when an ally dies or when you resurrect an ally. That's a 40% damage reduction, which is absolutely cracked. And it also states nearby critically wounded allies take reduced damage from combatants. Nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sector Vigor rule equipped also gain class ability energy while critically wounded. You'll see one of my teammates dies, I get that resist for 14 seconds, 40% damage reduction. Now, I don't know if you remember the mod from a few seasons ago, Protective Light, that is basically what this is. 40% damage reduction, and this is all stackable, which is absolutely crazy. So we could stack this with some other things in the game as well, which we'll go into. But just getting 40% damage reduction. Like I said, you can actually stack this with other things in the game. Slice, casting your class ability, allows this weapon to sever targets. Sever is a 40% damage reduction for the target it applies to. Pair that with Bastion, which is absolutely crazy. Put your barricade down, get a nice crispy Void Overshield, 45 HP. Offensive Bulwark, so when you've got that sort of Overshield, you're going to get nice grenade recharge rate as well. So basically, we're going to have a Void Overshield, 45 HP, plus the Sever effect from the fusion rifle, Scatter Signal, which is absolutely insane. You'll see Carl is all glistening nice and green. He is severed, 40% damage reduction. That is, his damage is severed by 40%. Plus you've got that Void Overshield, 45 HP as a nice little backup. So it's really good, a really good buff for you and your teammates. So you're going to be able to sever targets, give them a nice crispy Void Overshield. Like I said, this works for both you and your allies. Really handy. And then you've got your bubble there as well, or something like that, to give your teammates an extra 25% damage increase as well. Now, pairing it with the Navigator is another option. This is just another option because firing this weapon at an ally grants Woven Mail. Woven Mail is a further 40% overshield, like a green overshield, so that works nicely. And then it's got the perk on there, Weft Cutter, which also severs the target. So we've got options. You can either use the Navigator or a weapon with Sever on there, which is plenty of them in the game right now. But Navigator is really good as well because not only are you going to be severing, you're going to be giving yourself Woven Mail, and the damage reduction is absolutely stupid. Really good. And of course, with Woven Mail and the Navigator in particular, you can apply this for you and your teammates, but this is just an option. It works just as well with the Scatter Signal Fusion or another weapon. So again, you'll just see in this clip here, I'm just going to get that nice damage reduction. This is a sort of play. This is not one of them builds where you're going to see me running around one-shotting things. This is a different type of build. Look at this, putting that Woven Mail for you. And you're also severing that target there as well. 40% damage reduction. You're giving your teammates an Overshield. I pop my bubble, give them a nice 25% damage increase. And again, all I'm going to do is just put a weakening effect on with the Suppressor Grenade. So he's also debuffed by 15%. Give my teammate Woven Mail with the Navigator, and then on top of that, I'm actually suppressing that target, severing him by 40%. So he's got like an 80% damage reduction, this guy on my left, which is really good. Plus the Overshield, another 40%. Absolutely stupid. Really good. It keeps your teammates alive. Now, all this working together nicely with the Aeon gauntlets, which we've just gone over, just feels like a really nice fit. Just getting that Void Overshield, the Woven Mail, the Sever, everything else going on. It just feels like a really nice sort of mixture to run. I did consider strand build, but Void works really nice with that Overshield. And again, this is just more clips. I was using the Navigator. I'm using the Scatter Signal. So just sort of showing you that you can use multiple different weapons. It doesn't have to be Navigator. If you haven't got a Navigator, no problem. Find the weapon with Sever on, which is plenty of them in the game, and you can do this, and it really does help your teammates out. You'll notice, I promise you, they will survive, and you will survive 5 times more things that what you would normally survive. And the whole play, the whole general sort of play of the build. I really love like the support type. Just getting your overshield down on its own, giving your teammates that woven mail just like so, getting them out of tricky situations. I really like suppressor grenade with this build as well, which does just add to it as well because it slows the play down very, very nicely. Suppression is very underrated in my opinion. I just want to touch on Slice a little bit more. Slice actually does work against numerous different targets, but it also works against immune targets as well. So if you've got an immune boss, you can still Sever as well, which is really, really good. I will go more into the damage reduction for yourself in a moment after these few clips. I've got some really good clips to show you of how much damage reduction you actually get. Another little mod that I like to run, is Invisible Finisher. Look at the state of this, really, really good. So you've got Invisible Finisher with this build as well, which adds just to the sort of support style of the build. I'm just going to go onto my fragments and aspects now. Bastion, which we've already touched on. Casting your super grants overshield, putting your barricade down. Offensive bulwark, while you have an overshield, you are inside Ward of Dawn. Your grenade recharges faster. Like I said, I really like suppressor grenade with this build because it's really, really underrated and it slows the play down very, very nicely. Shield bash, you can run that one. This is the one I prefer, or shield throw, but I prefer shield bash. And then with regards to your barricade, I always run the rally barricade for that overshield because it's got a shorter cooldown. Now, fragments, echo of undermining. So you're going to give all your teammates that damage reduction, plus weakening 15% as well with Echo of Undermining, so a nice buff to damage as well. Echo of Persistence to make your invisibility, overshield and devour have increased duration. Echo of Obscurity, finish your final blows, grant invisibility, which we've just touched on. That works really nicely with this build. And an Echo of Leeching, melee final blows, start health regeneration for you and your nearby allies. So as I mentioned just before the fragments, I just want to show you some sort of damage reduction. Again, I'm severing that target there with the woven mail, with the Navigator, getting that woven mail procced as well, which again, you can shoot your teammates with that. And you'll see there, I jumped through that blight. I didn't have no resistance mods on this one. The only thing I had on was a concussive. And you'll see how much damage reduction, Sever and woven mail paired together. You can easily survive their blights. Normally, they'd either kill you or leave you one shot. Again, the Tormentor. You can see I've applied that Sever effect. It's got that Void Overshield. Nice bit of damage reduction there as well. So just for you on your own, it's actually a really good build for damage reduction. But all this is applying to your teammates as well, so it feels really, really good. Obviously, I focused on boss damage, but it's actually really good for stopping champion damage as well. Apply that Sever just like that, and you'll see a bit more damage reduction from this. Watch how much it does to me. Hardly anything with that Sever applied and that overshield, so it's a really good little setup. And again, it's something you can control yourself. Really, really easy to do. Apply that Sever and you'll see him glistening, and that's protecting you and your teammates. This build is absolutely cracked if you like playing the support build. Quick clip of the suppressor grenade, why I like to run it. Just absolutely crazy, just slowing that play down for you and your teammates if you get in tricky situations. A lot of ads running at you, bang a suppressor grenade down and everything's just slowed. Really, really top notch. Now, another thing I want to touch on, you can actually do some really nice damage with this build as well still, because it's a solar season, so things like Kindle and Trigger, Torch, like this perk is really, really good for this build as well, because while Radiant deal increased damage to combatants affected by Strand and Stasis debuffs, obviously we're going to be severing everything and applying the Sever quite a lot, so that's also another plus for your teammates. Flint Striker, rapid solar weapon, precision hits and solar weapon final blows, grant Radiant. You can add all these to the build with something like Polaris Lance or a solar hand cannon. For example, Rays of Precision, you're still going to be able to proc this with this build as well. So it's like a mixture, you still can do really nice damage. In this case, I'm running Polaris Lance and I've got the Scatter Grenade with Sever in my primary slot. So you can still do some really nice damage, and you can actually pair it up nicely because you can do the damage. And on top of that, you're going to be applying a torch for your teammates as well with the Sever effect. And then on top of that, you can also just put your class ability down, give them that nice Void Overshield, whilst you're doing plenty of damage with your solar weapons. Sever targets, protect them, so it's like an all-around mixture. Like this example here, I'm doing plenty of damage against the ads. Sever this target because I realise you might push a little bit close, and then you're also protecting you and your teammates from incoming damage. Really, really good. So it's an all-round good mixture of damage and protection. Really solid build. Now, the only thing I've got left now is to show you my mods. My mods, I sort of built them around the strand weapons, so stay with me with this one. I run, on my class item, I like to run Proximity Ward, gain a powerful Overshield while performing a finisher. This one works really nicely with the build, especially the finisher for invisibility. Double bomber mods, just to get that boosted grenade recharge rate whenever I put my class ability down. On my legs, I focus on Strand Scavenger, because we're either going to be running Woven Mail or a Sever weapon. So Strand Scavenger, and I also like to run a Strand Holster, because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to apply Sever and reloading. So that works nicely. Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb. On your chest piece, now this is entirely really up to you, whatever activity is at the time. But on this particular build, I run a Concussive Dampener, and I also like to run a Strand Reserves as well, just to get max ammo on my Strand weapons for that Sever or Woven Mail with Navigator, and then Harmonic Resistance. But again, you can sort of mix and match these up to your pleasing. On my gauntlets, I really like to run Impact Induction on this build, causing damage with a powered melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. That with a bomber works really nicely. Bolstered Detonation grants class ability when you cause damage with a grenade, so just a boost to my grenade recharge rate. And then the helmet, I like to run a double heavy ammo finder or a double special ammo finder, whichever one you want, and then a special ammo or a heavy ammo scout. That is entirely up to you, just another buff for your teammates, an all-round good build. So let me know what you think of this build. I hope you enjoyed it. I absolutely love playing the support protection type of build. I hope you do too. Thanks for watching, have a great day.